G'day everybody, it's Craig and Richard here, the strong silent type. he's actually doing a meditation retreat at the moment. He hasn't really lost his voice, it's just a silent retreat, but
I can sort of speak.
I could sort of speak, yeah. So anyway, this is our our week 6 feedback video, and so we're going to be touching on a few topics and maybe making a few summing up remarks as well. If Richard didn't make it, that was what I was going to hold up in his place. Thank you. Lots of expressions of gratitude for the course and what to do afterwards. Sort of leaving sort of what almost feels like a community.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we hope that you continue the practices, but also just make inquiries, see who's interested in your area, who you work with, friends, others who are interested in mindfulness, so you can sort of really connect and just keep it in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, often there are drop-in groups and things that people can find online.
Yeah.
Mindful.org is excellent. They post a lot of really useful information, so you might follow them on Facebook or get onto their website.
Yeah, Headspace, Smiling Mind, some great apps as well that can really keep you connected. And some of the really great university centres in the world. UMass, of course, Centre for Mindfulness is great, and Bangor University. So lots of ways of really connecting with people who are doing great work around the world. Absolutely. So now, the benefits of the practice have been noticed by a lot of people, and it really does take a few weeks to sort of get into the process and noticing less reactivity to stress. And I wonder why that might be, Richard. Why are people less reactive? What's that got to do with? Is it any particular regions in the brain at all? Right.
Friendly amygdala, maybe a little less active now that people have been doing these practices.
Yeah, it takes a few weeks for these things to kick in, but people are noticing that if it's been practiced over time. Improved listening, better relationships and communication, all of this is good. And one of the really important things that struck a theme for a lot of people is self-compassion. Mindfulness is about attention, but also being compassionate and in the process of doing that. And I think that's a really important insight that a lot have had.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the attitude that we cultivate when we practice mindfulness is super important. So of course we're learning to pay attention and to focus on what we want to focus on, but we're also cultivating attitudes like gentleness and friendliness towards ourselves, self-compassion when things are difficult. And that, of course, has been a very useful thing, and a lot of learners have said actually that was a very useful part of the course for them. So keep practicing that, definitely.
Yeah. And of course, being self-compassionate and calm, it doesn't mean that sometimes we might need to respond in a very direct way. So don't assume that being mindful always means, sometimes we do need to respond very clearly and decisively.
Yeah.
There's questions arisen, can we practice mindfulness or cultivate mindfulness without necessarily doing meditation or a lot of meditation? And yes, we can. I think the meditation really kicks it along. It's like the gym work. That's like the strength training and so on. But you can do it in informal ways as well. Ellen Langer, a professor of psychology at Harvard, she has been very interested in this area for many, many years, and she very much cultivated strategies and approaches to developing mindfulness, not so much based on the contemplative, meditative side of things. So certainly you can.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that of course we've been having a conversation and doing a range of different experiments and exercises over the last 6 weeks, and so I find this in courses I run as well, and I'm sure you would, that ongoing conversation, reminding people about mindfulness and inviting them to explore it in different ways really keeps it in the forefront of their mind. And you'd have to wonder what happens after the end of a course like this, right? And I would imagine that the people who have a regular meditation practice going, even if it's just say 5-10 minutes a day, would probably continue to experience these benefits. And I wonder about the people that are maybe just practicing it a bit more informally.
Yes, it may not have the same sort of continuity. Yeah.
It's a very unmindful world. I mean, we go out into our world and there's the pace of modern life, and there are unmindful people and lots of demands on our time and digital technology distracting us constantly. So I think any practice that we have that's going to maintain some level of mindfulness is going to be very useful. So certainly there'd be an encouragement to keep practicing.
Yes.
Even if you haven't been, now would be a perfect time to start, doing some of the meditations, going back to 5 minutes.
And to examine the reasons for not meditating as well.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that can be, that inquiry, that noticing what it is that gets in the way of meditation can be interesting. How the mind, being the creature of habit that it is, will almost do anything it can to justify not practicing mindfulness meditation.
Yeah, and this really came up in a big way when people started doing the longer meditation. This week, the 20-minute meditation, quite a lot of learners saying, oh, this isn't for me, it's too hard.
Mindfulness marathon.
Mindfulness marathon. Well, look, two things tend to happen. People either get sleepy or they get agitated. And that's in all the classic meditation teachings you find that has been two sort of major obstacles. We talked about this last week, I think, that it's normal for that to be happening.
Yeah.
And it's the most normal thing. And in fact, the opportunity is to work with that. If you're sitting for 20 minutes and the mind starts to race, and that a lot of the learners were saying they were thinking about all the things they'd rather be doing or should be doing, perhaps, rather than sitting and meditating. And that, I think, is a very useful thing to notice.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to believe and then to quit meditating, but
to work with it.
Absolutely.
Actually, because more significant practice will bring it on. It will, in a way, make these things even more obvious to us. But that gives us the opportunity to work with it, and just to be clear. And I mean, I think too, if we really do get clear in our own mind as to why mindfulness could be important in our life, then the resolution to meditate becomes pretty clear as well. If we really reflect on the cost of being unmindful, then it's a no-brainer.
A no-brainer. I like to think about mindfulness.
No mind, perhaps.
A no-minder, yeah. I like to think about mindfulness as well as being an attention training practice. It's like laboratory conditions for our mind.
Yeah.
When we quiet things down and just focus on a simple object like the breath, we start to notice what these tendencies of our mind that we often don't notice in the busyness of our lives, the distractedness, the thought that we should be doing something else, or the sleepiness, the dullness, and that's an opportunity to work with them.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And thinking too, yes, the world needs more of that, and more gentle.
Can't get enough.
More gentle puppy training too.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, but when we're sort of wanting to be productive and so on, I can't take time for meditation. It's actually a really good reason to take time for meditation, because we want to cultivate the state of mind to take into the work, to take into the decision making that's going to actually be helpful and more incisive as well. For myself, and I know you do too, I practice meditation half an hour, twice a day, every day. Not if there's not much on my plate, it's if there's a lot on my plate, I make sure I take time to practice that.
That's the time that you really want to keep the practice up.
That's right.
There's that joke that everyone should meditate for half an hour a day unless they're too busy, in which case they should meditate for an hour.
Yeah, that's right. I must be too busy.
Must be.
So working with that, the meditation, and mind you, it's our own decision. I mean, it's not like anybody's going to twist their arm and practice 20 minutes. But it does help if over time we sort of stretch it out a little bit. We've got to find our own level, and we've got to work in our own way with this. Some discussion about ethics and better relationships and foundation for ethical action. And I think that when we are more aware and present, we do start to notice the motivation sometimes behind the things that we do that maybe we sort of feel less happy about. And it does give us more opportunity to make a discerning choice about those things.
In a lot of ways, mindfulness is the foundation for ethical behaviour, isn't it? Really noticing what we're thinking and doing and saying from moment to moment, and the effect that's having on other people, and then starting to just be more aware of that quite often just leads to more ethical actions.
That's right. So that awareness, it helps to inform the decision making as well. So just perhaps in terms of summing up, there's been lots of gratitude, and I think gratitude for the learners, for each other. Lots of great connection and support throughout the course. And it's for many people it's really been very mind altering as well, in the sense in a good way. It's helped the people or life altering to be more informed about those. So absolutely follow us. And just to mention as well, there will be another course running early next year, expected to be in February, but the date will be announced. But if you register for the course or recommend it to others who register even before the date's
Register your
announced,
interest, I think, at this stage. Yeah.
that's right. So you can just register your interest, and when the dates are finally announced, then you'll get an email notification about that. So thank you once again, and right, and thank you. Says it all. So it's been wonderful being with you over these last 6 weeks, and thank you also to the fantastic production team here at Monash. So Kat and Rowan and Adrian and the wonderful team in teaching and learning here, and have been doing a fantastic job. So a lot goes on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And Jen and Sherelle as well. They've done a tremendous amount of work in the discussion boards
awesome work.
and providing summaries each week for us to work with. So thank you, and have a wonderful and mindful life.
Yeah, I think this sums it up, Craig.
No mind.